here we go. Another live stream. Enjoy the show. We're notifying viewers that you're live. Perfect. I love it. I love how this is the same thing every time, even though time doesn't exist. So, what are we going to talk about first, friends? I think we're going to talk about being in the flow state in terms of manifestation, because the flow state is where everything fucking happens. Nothing happens outside of the flow state, because if you are waiting for something to happen, if you are anticipating something to happen, it's not flowing. There is something that is causing a resistance. You're trying to force it. So, what is up, everyone? Thank you for joining. Oh, House of Holistica, what's up? How are you? Glad to see you. So let's talk about the flow state, okay? So I have some notes in my phone here, and we're just gonna flow with it. So when we are manifesting, a lot of times we can forget that manifestation is instant. The thing already exists. And as soon as you have the desire within you, what's happening is that you're being guided towards it, okay? It's like you've already set the destination in your GPS, and now you are flowing there. But if you keep looking, where is it? How come it's not here? It has to happen by this time. I'm going to try to make something happen. You're taking yourself out of the flow state of you already being moved in that direction. And now you're turning your attention to where is it? So now what's essentially happening is that you're energetically aligning with where is it rather than it's already done. And the most important thing, what's up, Brazil? Holla, how are you? The most important thing about the flow state is that you don't have to do shit. You don't have to do shit in order to flow with what you want. All you are doing is being, okay? This is why when motherfuckers talk about you're a human being, okay, yeah, you're being who the fuck your God consciousness says you are from the humanoid perspective of the human vessel. But you're not the human, okay? You are not the human. So when anyone, even in the manifestation community, talks about, oh, well, you're only human, or I'm only human. No, you just, that's a big thumbs down, because you're not a human, because the human is fucking vessel. And you are not the vessel. You pilot the vessel, but you're not it, okay? You're not the vessel, okay? You possess the vessel. You can do with it as you please, but you're not the vessel. So you're not a human. What is the consciousness that's, governing the awareness that the human suit is maneuvering through, right? It's your perception. Your perception is not human. What is the name for that? Okay, the name for that in layman's terms is consciousness. So when you are in the flow state as the human being, right, you have entered a portion of your consciousness into the avatar that is called a human, and you are just being who your God consciousness is telling you that you are, okay? Now, the ego, of course, can tell you things. The things that the ego tells you a lot of times is trying to keep you in the same place. Now, the ego can tell you good things and the ego can tell you bad things. It just depends on what dominant story you have going on within you, okay? So the flow state is knowing that you are not the 3D circumstances. Yes, you might have conjured the 3D circumstances by your awareness on a certain thing from a perceived past, but you are not those circumstances. So the flow state really entails that you are just totally in alignment with what it is now, okay? And there are no humanoid things that you need to conquer, okay? Essentially, you can even bypass the ego. You can tell it to take a seat and shut the fuck up if you want to, but a lot of motherfuckers are just not used to doing that, and they're used to having the ego tell them what to do rather than just being in the moment and enjoying it. And this is a lot of times why your manifestations might happen when you are seemingly not thinking about it, when your mind is elsewhere, right? Because not only is your mind not focused on your desire because it's already done, so there's nothing for you to fucking do, but your awareness is now not on the resistance to that desire. Where is it? How's it going to get here? Logistics, all of that shit, okay? So when you turn your attention away and you're just flowing, you're like, okay, yeah, the 3D, it's cool. You ride in the wave, right? You ride in the wave. It's like you surfing, because everything is made up of waves. So of course you're going to be surfing, right? Energetically, of course. What's going to happen is that shit is just going to come to you. So your only job, your only duty is, if the ego comes up, you say, I understand that you're part of the humanoid program parameters, and I understand what you're here to do. You're designed to protect a story. You're designed to protect a story, and you know that's fine for third dimensional purposes. And the ego is saying that you and your SP are not. And the ego is saying that you and your SP are not the same motherfucker, right? I mean, even though you are consciously the same motherfucker, the ego is the one that's saying, their physical vessel looking nice, I kind of want to smash, you know what I'm saying? And so that's really, you know, the ego can do some good things too, because it's aware that, you know, your specific person has a separate vessel than you that might be in alignment with your preferences, and you might want to be doing things with that physical vessel, okay? So the ego can be good. I don't want to say that the ego is like totally bad, because it's not. But a lot of times in the manifestation community, this is going to be all over the place. You all, thank you, but you know, I always like to start with the sermon, because I feel like this is what's getting the ball rolling. And I just had a little snack, if you know what I'm talking about, an edible snack. So we're just gonna see how this rolls and plays out, okay? I like to have snacks, okay? I like mushrooms on my pizza. Like, that's like one of my favorite toppings on pizza, aside from like jalapenos and maybe banana peppers. But anyway, so the ego is great from the perspective where what story you are familiar with, the ego is going to defend that. The ego is going to say, this is the story that comprises belief systems of this individual that is occupying the humanoid vessel. So my duty is to guard that story and to protect it at all costs. So it can be a good story or it could be a negative story. But remember, in the higher realms, there is no bad or good. There is no right or wrong. There's just the awareness of what you prefer. Okay. So when you are in the flow state, what happens is that you're just enjoying the moment so immensely that you're not even aware that your desire is neither here nor there. You're just flowing with it. And this is very important, because so many times motherfuckers will be like, but I've been affirming for this long, but I've been doing this for that long, but I've been visualizing and nothing's happened. Yes, because you are holding yourself in subordinates to two masters. You're saying, I'm doing my affirmations and I know it's already done, but oh, where is it? Do you see how that it's going to balance the scale, so it's going to look like nothing is happening? So my advice to you is to be in the moment and do whatever feels right to you in the moment. And it might seem detrimental to your desire, especially now that I've seen that they have this shit where motherfuckers are like, oh, you know, there's like the 10K affirmation challenge. I don't even know what I really don't keep up with a lot of manifestation stuff. As far as now, I just kind of talk about it. But there's like the 10K affirmations. Like, my dude, what are you doing? Like, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm gonna sit and affirm 10,000 times. Number one, who's counting that? My ass ain't counting no 10,000 times. I'll tell you what, because I don't prefer math, and that's just what I say. Probably motherfuckers on here, you'd be like, oh, you have an obsession with math because you always bring it up. But no, I bring it up because I don't care for it. So it's not something that I don't care. Like, yeah, I have a calculator. It gets me by when the time is right, but I don't fucking care. So like, if you're thinking that you have to do something else, 10K affirmations, you have to sit in a closet and wank off and fucking think about your desire, like, if let's say you go with that, if you're like, yeah, this is gonna work, and you set the intention it's gonna work, then it will work that one time. You don't need to keep doing it. Okay, because that's what the ego is saying. The ego is saying you have not done enough, you need to do more until you see the results. That is not coming from your God consciousness, that is not coming from your higher self, that is coming from your ego, because your ego is trained by the parameters of the matrix to say you do hard work and you get the results, and you see the results instantly. You clock into a job, you get the paycheck every fucking week or every 2 weeks, however the fuck it works, right? You're trained. It's training. Okay? So in the humanoid vessel, there are programs that are general, right? For occupying a human vehicle, let's say. Okay, so what are you programmed? You're programmed that you have to go to school, you have to get good grades, you have to get a good job, you have to, do all this shit, right? Jump through hoops. You gotta go to school for fucking 17 years, and then you might not even get a job in that field anyway. You know what I'm saying? But it's out there, and I'm not knocking it. Like, if there's a profession that you have an interest in and you enjoy going to school for that, and you enjoy that profession, then by all means do that. But it's still your perception of it. Okay, so if you're thinking that you have to go to school for 17 years to get a certain job, no, that's a program too. If you want that job, you could just apply right now and get it. But you see, it's your programming. Oh, you need experience. No, you fucking don't. You need alignment. But see, what motherfuckers' experiences is, for the most part, is their experiences, of course, are things that have happened in 3D. So then they're taking that as gospel, because they're saying, okay, but I lived through this, and my vessel experienced this, and the emotions that came up at the time. And now your ego is attached to that story because you experienced it through the fucking process of your vessel having visceral reactions to that thing. But the experiences that you have in your mind are just as real. And they are, in my opinion, even more important than the experiences that you have in the 3D. Yes, we all have a 3D, and we're, in my opinion, we're here to, have all these visceral sensations, right? Because from the God consciousness self, it's kind of like you're there. Oh, I think of something, I am it. Okay, cool. But then this is an added layer of fun. You know what I'm saying? It's an added layer of fun. Because now you think about the fucking ice cream and the chocolate syrup and the caramel sauce, and you're like, oh, I get to taste it. I get to have that extra sensation. Okay, so there are good things to it as well. But your experiences in your mind are creating your experiences in the 3D, but you have been programmed to believe and perceive that the 3D comes first. Okay, no, you come first. You know what I'm saying? You always come first because you're God. And if anyone else gets off, they get off. If they don't, who cares? Because you're God and you come first. Yeah, I know what I'm fucking saying. Okay, so that's what I got for you on that. Your mind, what you have going on in your mind, is going to be way more important than anything that is going on in the 3D. And that's why I said to bring it back around to when I started this fucking sermon here. What you want is to be in the flow state. And in my notes here, I don't need to refer back to it because I fucking remembered, because I'm so smart. Is that what happens when you are in the flow state? It's sort of like a trance, okay? It's like a trance experience. And trance, when we interpret it from Latin, it essentially means that your mind is away from your body, okay? And that's what a trance state is. That's why I have always gravitated towards trance music, even before I knew what conscious manifesting was, because it always put me in a state of yeah, and I'm talking like I'd be sober listening to trance music and I'm having a jolly good time. You know what I'm saying? So when you are living in your mind so well, what you are going to notice, at least from my personal perspective, and this of course depends on where you're at, but when you are in the true flow state, when you are truly in the embodiment of a trance, like your mind is away from your body, it's kind of like an autopilot. Like you're going through the 3D and you're navigating around, but it's like like when you're in a fucking aeroplane and it says the pilot puts the shit on autopilot. Okay, fine, right? It's just you're chilling. The shit is just operating because it knows what to do, right? if you're on the fucking highway or some shit and you put on cruise control, you're not really touching the pedals, you're just kind of chilling, right? It's the same concept. So this is where, in my opinion, you would want to be. And when you up levels in consciousness, you're just going to start to notice that your experience tends to be like this more frequently than not. And autopilot in, you know, your physical vehicle, because remember, just like a plane, just like a car, your human suit is a fucking vehicle, but you're not it because you're not a fucking human. You pilot it around and you say, okay, autopilot. Yeah, I'm living in my mind, but I'm in a constant state of fucking trance because I'm the fucking shit. And then what happens is that you brush your teeth, you shower, you jerk off, you take a shit, whatever the fuck you're doing in the 3D, right? You go from point A to point B. You're not thinking about it. You're just like, okay, like you're gonna start to see a distinction. You're gonna start to see a distinction because your mind will be so in the desire that you're just on autopilot in the 3D. Yeah. The bank balance says this, the SP said that, this is what occurred today, this is what didn't happen. You smile and nod. And that's how you're just going to be when you are in a pure state of the wish fulfilled. In my opinion, you know, I've only had my experience in the fucking 3D, so I can only say for my opinion. But when you are in the state of the wish fulfilled, you are going to be in a state of trance where, yes, you have an awareness about a little bit of what's going on in the 3D, but you're not paying attention to it because you're like, yeah, I got this. Okay, so whatever your 3D things are that you do throughout the day, okay, which I hope is showering and brushing your teeth. I mean, I hope so, you know, but things like that where it's just things that you're doing, you're going to be doing it, but your mind is going to be elsewhere. Okay, you're in a state of trance because if you, let's say for the example of money, you're like, I got $80 million in my bank account. Okay, maybe you're brushing your teeth in your little apartment, but in your mind you have $80 million and you're in a fucking palace. So your mind is not going to be aware that you're brushing your teeth in your apartment. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, your awareness is my mansion, my palace, my yacht, my fucking 17 chauffeurs, whatever the fuck it is. But you're just going to be performing your duties in the 3D, the duties that you want to perform, because again, you don't have to do anything you don't want to. So I'm saying your willingness to participate in the 3D, you're going to do that, such as brushing your teeth and showering, whatever the fuck. But your mind is not going to be focused there. You're not going to take it seriously because it's on autopilot. And that is how I can describe the flow state, which is what I started originally talking about with this video. Is that the flow state, you're basically like in a state of trance. You're not looking at like you're not even noticing shit. Like me, you know how many times, like, and I do this naturally because I'm fucking weird, but like there'll be some shit going on in the 3D and I will have no idea. It could be something that's going on in front of me. I am not paying attention. Motherfucker's like, yo, you didn't notice that? I'm like, notice what? Because I'm in my mind. I'm not even like I'm fucking in the vessel, but I'm not here in my mind. So if there's something that is going on in the 3D, it doesn't matter to me because I'm immune to it. And that's what, in my suggestion, you would want to be. You would want to be ideally immune to 3D circumstances. And you can set that intention. You can say, whatever's going on in the 3D, I'm immune to it. I don't care. Whatever it's going on doesn't mean it's going on with me. Because your mind, contrary to what you were programmed to believe, is more important than anything that can happen in the 3D. It's your perception of it. Again, I will say, you have one situation. You got 12 different motherfuckers looking at that same situation. You interview each 12 of them and they're going to tell you a different fucking story. Oh, I saw this. Oh, I seen that. Yeah, this is what happened. And I know you've all had instances like that, so don't tell me you haven't, where you have witnessed the exact same thing, or you have been, let's say you at the club with your homie, and you had this type of experience there. Your homie had another type of experience. So like, I hate that club. I ain't ever going back. And you're like, I had a good time. And they're like, no, but this and the drinks and the fucking line to the bathroom, whatever the fuck it is. And you're like, I didn't even notice that. You see what I'm saying? Because it's not about the thing in the 3D. The 3D does not matter. And I sound mad as a hatter, and I fucking love it. Because this is how I roll. I stay in Wonderland. You know what I'm saying? So you can be there physically with someone, but if you're not checked into it mentally, it does not matter. You see what I'm saying? This is why, like, sometimes motherfuckers be talking about, like, I've heard this, in relationship context, right, where it's like someone is there and they're all present and they're doing the most in the relationship, and the other motherfucker, they're checked out, right? Like, they're there physically, but they're not there mentally, and it's still affecting the motherfucker that's there, like, in their mind. They're both there physically, but one motherfucker's checked out. They on the dating apps, they going to the club, they going to the strip joint, they're like, yeah, whatever, who cares, right? And their partner is like, but where's this motherfucker? I'ma stalk them, I'ma follow them, I'ma make a fake account. Like, do you see what I'm saying? So it does not matter what is going on. It matters where your awareness is. And it is the same shit for all of you who are manifesting a specific motherfucker. Where is your awareness placed? This motherfucker ain't reach out to me in 3 days. Boo hoo hoo. Cry yourself a river. Don't matter, okay? Feel your feelings. But where's your awareness? Is your awareness on that they ain't hit you up in 3 days, so they don't want you, they fucking the entire crowd? You know what I'm saying? Like, or is it, I ain't here for them in 3 days. Oh, they're preparing this long ass paragraph of how they want to be with me and only me. You see what I'm saying? You see, and that is the difference. That is where your awareness is placed. That's what matters. Yep. Same thing with money. Same thing with health, especially like with your physical vehicle. In my experience, physical health and like body changes have been the easiest to manifest, because to me, and this is just my opinion, logically your body, like, you possess that's your vehicle. It's the closest thing to you get to pilot that around. So to me, I'm like, this is the closest thing to me. So this, in my mind, and manifestation is not logical, but I'm like, this is the easiest shit that I want to manifest. I want to manifest this. Got it. Okay, good. Right? Do you see what I'm saying? Because everything is you. And even though you, from your ego perspective, you're not your body, you're not your SP, you're not your bank balance from the ego perspective, but you are still in control of it. You are still in control of all of these things because they are you on an energetic level. Do you get what I'm saying? So I know a lot of like times manifestation can look contradictory, because you're like, wait, but you just said you're not your body. Now you're saying your body is the closest thing to you, so that's the easiest. But it's trippy like that, and you got to pick and choose your fucking battles. Okay, so everything is you on a level where your awareness of it is calling forth the attention that the thing exists. So yes, you are creating it, but in the same way, from the third dimensional perspective, because we're in 3D, you are not going to escape to an extent that illusion of separateness. Okay, so this is why you want to smash your SP, because you're like, oh, their vessel got me going. You know what I'm saying? So if, they're you and they're you, like, you should be horny for your fucking self, in my opinion. But you know what I'm saying? It's totally different ball game when another motherfucker is in the mix. But that's the difference. It's like, yes, everything is one, but the illusion of separateness can make it amazing, or it can make it a fucking nightmare. But it's still your perception of it. So if you are looking at things as separate from you, or motherfuckers are doing things to you, or the 3D is showing you this, so now you're going to bend over, spread your cheeks for the 3D, you're the one that still has to do that. So the only obedience that you want to have ideally is to yourself and to what you want. Thank you so much for that. I love it. Your only obedience is to you. Your only obedience is to the new story. It's not to what has been, unless what has been working and you're enjoying what's going on in 3D, then yeah, fucking keep that shit going. Fuck yeah. But you don't have to if you don't like it. And here's the thing, this is why I said in one of my recent videos, if you do not like something, why are you paying its attention? And this goes back to the other live stream where I was talking about time and money and paying and counting, and the way that shit, you know, it's kind of, it's like 3D parameters of the way the Earth Matrix operates. But you are paying attention to something you don't like. And if you want to look at this in layman's terms, you're giving money to some shit that you don't like. It's like you go to the bar, you order a drink, you don't like it, it tastes like piss. Oh, I'm gonna pay for another one, and I'm gonna pay for another one. You don't like it, but you're paying for it. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same concept. You're paying attention to shit you don't want. Oh, why are you doing that? Because it's familiar? Oh, homie. Can't be going by what's familiar. You know what I'm saying? Just because some shit is comfortable don't mean it's good for you, okay? You know? It's just not it. Now, here's something that just came to me, which is about comfort and the naturalness, because that just popped up in my mind, and I'm in the flow state, so I'm gonna just talk. So I said, just because something is comfortable for you doesn't mean it's good. But then motherfuckers would be like, oh, but you said in other videos that it's the naturalness of desire. You had to feel comfortable and the wish fulfilled. Yeah, but you see, there's comfortable, but then there's your interpretation of comfortable. And the naturalness of ooh, oh my, that was wicked. The interpretation of comfortable is it comfortable where it feels nice and it feels like, okay, yeah, like I'm at peace? Or is it comfortable where it's familiar, where it's like, I've experienced this before, I'm used to this, it feels like shit, but I'm used to it, so I'm gonna just go with it? Do you see? That's the difference. That's what I'm gonna say again. A lot of shit with the manifestation shit, that shit looks so contradictory. Like that's like, oh my God, what you doing over here? But like, once you get into really understanding yourself and understanding your psyche and really looking at the mechanics of, you know, how manifestation works, there's all sorts of comfortable. And what they are is, like I always describe, they are apps in your phone, okay? So if there's an app and it's running like shit and it's taking up a lot of space, but it's just been there forever, you might be a little cautious to delete it. You might be like, oh, but I've had that app forever, I'm gonna keep it because, you know, it's okay. It's familiar, but maybe not in a good way, maybe in a way where it's, you know, it's causing you some anxiety, okay, by your perception of it. But then there's a new app, and it's got all new software, and that shit is running smooth. You're like, oh, well, I don't know, because I'm gonna have to delete the old app if I want to install the new app, because there ain't enough memory in here. Like, okay, so the comfortable thing, if you are not, and I'm gonna say this in a metaphor because that's how I fucking roll. The comfortable thing, the old app that's running like shit, okay? The new app that you're like, oh wow, this app, is this too good to be true? It feels uncomfortable because you ain't experienced that shit in your fucking body, right? And because your body experienced the old app, the old programming, it's just gonna feel more natural because you had all those added sensations to it, because you lived through it in your physical vehicle, which is another sense of the matrix. So it's providing another level of realness, whereas in your body you might not have lived from the new app because your body did not experience that. So how you get more into comfortability of the wish fulfilled of being in the new app, you saturate your fucking mind. And that's why I said, when you're in a state of trance, when you're in the flow state, you're so in your mind that it's going to feel like it actually happened. And that is the point of comfortability. So it's like, oh, then when you get there, the old app is gonna start to feel alien to you. You could be like, who even was I when I was thinking that way? And that is how you know that you have shifted. And for some, it could be instantaneous. For some, it might take a day. For some, it might take a week. I don't fucking know, because everyone is different, right? We're all individuals. But the comfortable thing that feels like shit, and you're like, okay, I've experienced this before, whatever. It's like kind of, you're dealing with a rude customer that walks in the fucking store, and you're like, yeah, I know how they are. They're just rude. Like, you kind of like, you're prepared for it because you know, right? But then it's like you don't necessarily want to be going through that, but you're like, yeah, I know how that is, right? That's how your old apps are. That's how your old beliefs are. They're comfortable, but you're like, oh, like it's still causing you some distress. Whereas a new app, you're like, oh my God, can I actually have that? Can I actually have this perfect manifestation of everything that I want? But because your body has not had that experience, it's just going to feel a little more alien. And the way to make it more natural and organic, to feel more natural, is for you to immerse yourself in that, and immerse and go in there. No, the 3D could be showing me this, I don't care, because this is what's going on in my mind, and this is in alignment with what I want. And that is what alignment is. Alignment, there is no time. Alignment, there is no space. Alignment is now. Everything is now. So when you're manifesting and you keep going back to the old story, there ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you. But you're going back to it because it feels comfortable to an extent, because again, your ego is looking at that story. Okay, this is what's familiar, we must protect it. But at the same way, it's also like you experience that in your vessel, so that added layer of visceral sensation is present with that story, even though the story is not going on anymore. But if you've ever replayed an argument in your mind or thought of a past experience, those fucking emotions and thoughts can come back. Okay, so you get yourself in the state of the wish fulfilled by continually going there, and you don't stop. This is what it means. Persistence is not that you're persisting, that you're trying to do something. You're not trying to make a fucking outcome happen in the 3D, right? Because you can't. Like, I mean, you can do shit in the 3D thinking, okay, yeah, this is going to get me what I want, but it isn't. It isn't. Okay, or it might in little bits and pieces, but the full-blown manifestation, there is nothing that you can do to make it happen because it's already happened. There's ways for you to get closer to it, and that's where inspired action comes in, where you're in alignment with the thing, right? You're in a trance state, you're in the flow state, and you just chilling. You sitting, you watching fucking Netflix, okay? All of a sudden you get this urge to go to fucking crumble cookies. Really good cookies, by the way. Oh, I only had one, but that was a bomb ass fucking cookie. Took me 3 days to eat, okay, because them shits are big, but wow. So you get the inspired idea, I'm gonna go to crumble cookie. Like, for what? Like, I'm sitting here, I'm in for the evening, just go, okay. And what happens? Maybe, right? Because the intention, you had your GPS set on, I want to manifest SP. Guess who's there? SP's sister, or SP's brother, or SP's mom, whoever the fuck. Like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in a while. How have you been? You know, SP, like, they were actually asking about you. They're wondering, like, how come you haven't come by the house? And you're like, if you hadn't gotten that random fucking action to go to crumble cookie, that might not have happened. But the whole time you were thinking that ain't shit working for you because you ain't hear jack shit from SP. But the whole time they were asking about you, right? Wondering why you ain't showed up. You see what I'm saying? So that's just one example of how this shit works. Inspired action is not going to feel forced ever, and that is the action, in my opinion, that you want to follow, because you don't need to do shit to get the manifestation to happen, because you can't. It's just the more you are in alignment with the thing, you're in the trance state, you're on autopilot, all of a sudden it's like your higher self is going to come through. We're going to send you a signal. We're going to say, okay, you on autopilot, but you know what? We're going to click off autopilot. Here's an idea. Here's an action for you to do. Here's something for you to do. And you do it. You send a text, or you send an email, or you fucking take a detour. I don't know what the fuck it is, right? It's be different for everyone. But then you do it, and then it's like, oh, wow. And you see how it led you to your fucking shit. I don't know how long I was talking. I didn't see the puzzle piece, so I know it ain't been an hour, but that's what I got. Because I be sermoning. Hell yeah. Ooh. So, anyway, what's up, guys? I think that I will say what's up in the chat. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for joining me on this wonderful excursion. Great advice. Thank you. Woo. Oh, shit. You saw a license plate that said State of Flow. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Well, guys, here we go. I know everyone's gonna ask about SPs. I love it, but it's like you have to think of what story you are telling about them. He was a negative narcissist, always putting you down. Okay, so you're still agreeing to that story to an extent. Okay, so how would you want this person to treat you? How would you want this person to treat you? Hold on, I gotta, all right. I just love it when you have it on. It's like, are you still there? Like, bitch, do I look like I went anywhere? You motherfuckers spying on us through electronics. You should see I'm sitting here. But if you're viewing someone as a narcissist, then you can't view them as a narcissist anymore. That version of them is gone. So you cannot look at any specific person and look at the current circumstance and then focus on that. Now, if there's a story of how you got to the current circumstance where it's you had a perception about this individual before you met them, or you had a perception about relationships before you met them, then, definitely look into that. But if you're calling someone a narcissist and you expect them to show up for you perfectly, I don't know how that's going to happen. So you can't, Aw, I changed your life. Thank you. That is amazing. He ghosted you, so you don't know if he's done with you. Yeah, you do know, because you always have the awareness of what you know in a situation. Now, if you're saying that you're unsure, what is it that you're unsure about? Did he ghost you or did he not? Because it can look on paper like he ghosted you, but if you're just saying, no, that's not what happened, then that's not what happened. So you get to pick the story. So I'd recommend stop telling the story that he ghosted you, because you know what you want to happen, right? You know that. So if you say you don't know, if anyone with SPs or anything else is saying they don't know what's going on, you're going to get more of, you don't know what's going on. I promise you that. You're going to get more of what's going on because you don't know. And the 3D can only reflect you. So you're just going to keep getting what you're putting out there. So he didn't ghost you. He's always in communication with you and you know what's going on. He's in love with you. That's it. That's it. Yes, circumstances. You're not paying attention to them. And again, I'm not saying from a place of like, stop showering, stop brushing your teeth. Like, I mean, come on, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying like in the sector that you are consciously manifesting in, you're not paying attention to that circumstance. You're in Delulu, you're in Transville in your mind. Yeah, okay, so there you go. You know what's going on. They all be begging to be with you. Then that's what it is. That's what it is. Are you supposed to write down this stuff or just think it? It really depends on you. If you're comfortable with just thinking it, then just think it. If you want to think it and write shit down, then, it's really a personal preference. Like every manifestation method is a personal preference. Okay. I'd be bored. I don't want to sit and script. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's just not going to do anything. But the most important thing with any manifestation, you don't even need to be affirming for it. You just don't want to be thinking against it. So whether you write down the thing that you want or whether you're affirming for it, that's fine. But you have to be mindful to not think against it. Oh, but the 3D circumstance, hey, it's in my face. No, okay, it's not here. It's not here. It's not here. It's like you're flying in a plane, okay? It's a rainy day. You fly above the clouds. Now it's like it's not raining where you're at. You could see everything fine, but the clouds are just the barrier, so you can't see the land. So you're just like, no, it's not cloudy anymore, and the skies open up and you see the fucking land. Like that's the best way I could describe it, okay? Yeah, you can definitely do inner conversations. That's definitely, like any method is just, it's what your preference is. Like some individuals are not good at visualizing, so I don't recommend to visualize if you can't. Like, don't feel like if someone was able to get something by doing a certain method, that might not work for you because you are not them. Thank you for the gift. Oh, you love my nails. Thank you. Yeah, I'll be a diva about my nails. when your SP gives you breadcrumbs, you just tell yourself that he always shows up for you. Yeah, you're gonna stop saying that he's giving you breadcrumbs. You say, I have the entire fucking pie. I am the entire fucking pie. So he gives me everything I want whenever I want because I'm the shit. You know? Thank you. My nails are so pretty. Yeah, that's one of my things. You know, I'll be a diva about certain things. Have I read I never know how to say his last name. I just say Jung. I know it's like Jung or something, but I don't be talking like that. I don't be talking fancy like that. I've read some of his stuff, but like an entire anything that he wrote, no. I don't even know if he's written a book. I mean, I've seen some of his like theories about psychology, but have I read anything in depth? Absolutely not. No. Ooh, first time on my live. Welcome. Am I from New York? I don't know what gave that away, but born and raised New York City, yes. What do you do when your mind won't allow you to believe? You don't need to believe the affirmations at first because it's going to feel alien. It's going to feel alien if you're so used to a certain story. So I would suggest if you're, finagling a new belief system into something, what you want to do is just stick with the repetition. I'd recommend 1 or 2 affirmations in regards to the new belief system. Repeat them mindlessly, repeat them mindlessly, repeat them mindlessly. I don't give a fuck what you're doing, showering, shitting, cooking, cleaning. Repeat them mindlessly, repeat them mindlessly. You just, that is going to build the baseline. That's going to build the foundation. And pretty soon your affirmation is going to start becoming your thoughts naturally, and then your thoughts are going to become your beliefs. That's what I'd recommend in the beginning. Hey, Shannon Felicia, New York. Holla. You roll your eyes at the 3D. Yeah, sometimes the 3D deserves an eye roll. Like, you serious? Or to be laughed at? Like, okay. Like, the less you take the 3D seriously, the less serious it's going to show itself to you. Because remember, it can only behave the way that you are behaving, right? So if you don't take the 3D seriously, it's not going to present more of that to you. Because then if you, oh my God, what am I going to do? And this happened in 3D, that happened in 3D. It's like, bitch, like, okay, now you're just reaffirming that story that you don't want. So that's what I would say is, if anything is going on in the 3D and you don't like it, you don't care for it, you pay as little attention to it as possible and you reframe it into the best narrative that you possibly can. And it might not be perfection. It might be, all right, well, yeah, this happened, whatever, but it's showing me that my desires are here. Like, that's really it. You have to frame it in the most positive way. Manifesting a celebrity or influencer, someone you don't know personally. It's the exact same principle as manifesting someone you know in the flesh. It's the exact same thing. They're no different. And if you are manifesting someone that you perceive as an influencer or a celebrity, they're not fucking better than you. You're God of your universe, so you wouldn't want to view them as, oh my God, but they have so many followers. Oh my God, but they're a celebrity. No, fuck them. They don't matter, you matter. So you're still going to hold yourself as the prize, and you're going to do whatever you would do to manifest any person. You can affirm, you can visualize it, it doesn't matter. But you're like, especially if you're saying that they're a celebrity or an influencer, they ain't shit, you are. So don't view them as this holier than thou thing. Like, no, they're so lucky to have you. Ain't no one a celebrity in your universe other than you. So stop viewing that as a celebrity. Oh yeah, this regular motherfucker. Of course they want to be with me because I'm the shit. That's it. Exactly. In embodiment, what are my thoughts on embodiment? That's kind of what I was saying in the beginning about, you're in a trance. You're kind of like just so in your mind that you're not caring about what's going on in 3D. And it's also when you are so in that zone of not caring, it's kind of like you're performing those actions naturally. Like, you're in the zone. I'm a millionaire. So you're in the zone of a millionaire, and that's who you are. You're not checking your bank balance constantly. You're not counting pennies. You're not doing any of that because you're a millionaire, right? Just like if you're in a happy relationship with SP, you're not constantly checking their socials to see what they got going on because you're with them. And it's just going to start being your natural actions. The more that you are aligned with that version in your mind, your actions are just going to start flowing with it in the 3D. And if you have to maybe at first force yourself to perform differently in the 3D, then that's what you do. Like, if let's say you're manifesting an SP and you want to fucking make a fake account and spy on them, or you're like, is this the version of me who's with them or the version of me who's not? And at first you might have to force yourself to embody the state, because remember, like I said, it's alien. You're not used to it. So you know what I mean? But if you're so saturated in your mind, the 3D, you're just going to see that you're doing that regardless of any circumstance. You're welcome. For SP, is it enough to just robotically affirm my self-concept is perfect? But why are you affirming for self-concept for SP? Like, you see, this is something that I talk about, and I'm going to keep saying it. You do not need self-concept to manifest a specific person. So I don't know if you even need to work on self-concept. Do you see what I'm saying? Because my self-concept is perfect, but if you have a story about relationships, or if you have a story about that specific motherfucker in general, my self-concept is perfect is not going to do anything. So I don't know what's going on in your mind, but you do not need to affirm for self-concept to get SP. Do you have a story about relationships in general that is detrimental? Do you have a story about SP that is detrimental? Make your affirmations around that. Now, if you need to work on self-concept because you just feel low in every area of your life, if you're feeling that no one likes you, no one chooses you, no one prioritizes you, then yes, work on self-concept, because that is the most important thing, but you might not need to. So it's a bunch of bullshit that someone needs to work on self-concept to manifest their specific person. Yes, that might be true in some cases, but in some cases that's not what it is. And that's just, that's misinformation. Like, and I know that Neville Goddard, he talks about your concept of self being important. And yes, it is. But what he's not specifying, in my opinion, is that there are different areas of your experience. So if overall you feel like shit is going well for you, you get along with people, you love your life, but it's just one area or maybe two that you're like, what is going on? It's not your self-concept. It's how you are viewing that particular area. That's it. If you feel like you have low self-esteem and struggle to believe your affirmations, you don't need to believe them. You just need to keep repeating them. And if you feel like you have low self-esteem, and this is an area that, you feel like it's kind of generalized, just, for every area of your life, then yes, you would want to work on self-concept, and you would want to start saying, I am confident, I am powerful, I am all that is. Those are some things that you can start, but you don't need to believe them. Did I see your question above? No, the chat is scrolling for me. So yeah, if you have a old story of SP picking others and not you, then you don't need to work on self-concept. You need to work on that story, because the self-concept it's like, okay, I am perfect, I am whole, I am complete, I am all there is. Okay, cool. But then you have a shit story over here. You're not addressing what the issue is. You're just not. So you don't need to work on self-concept if that's not something that is applicable to you. You know what I'm saying? If you want to attract a different version of SP, you can imagine, or you can say some affirmations of how you want them to show up for you. But it's important to understand that when anyone is manifesting an SP, they're not necessarily manifesting the SP. There is no SP. It's you. It's you looking at someone who is mirroring your beliefs back to you in very real time. I'll say that fucking loosely. So what are your perceptions about relationships? Are you someone who is chosen and prioritized and always offered commitment? Or are you someone that gets cheated on, that gets ghosted? Like, you see what I'm saying? So if there's a story about relationships in there, I'd recommend addressing the story about relationships first before even thinking about SP, because likely that's why the SP showed up unfavorably, because you had a story about relationships and the SP was neutral to begin with, but you had that story, they're showing up in your relationship sector, and then they have no choice but to reflect that. How to stop feeling in competition with others when manifesting a desire. Well, there's no competition, it's just you. So you're perceiving others as competition, but they're not, because they're just you. So if you're, looking at it that way, you might want to start with saying, I am the only one. I am like the source of all creation. I am the only thinker. I am the only observer. I am the only one. And that's going to stop that, because if you're the only one, what competition is there? Like, there ain't none. It's just you putting someone else to compete with you. Hell yeah, you all getting your shit. Fuck yeah. How would I recommend learning how to maintain creator state? Creator state is really just kind of putting the focus on yourself, and you would want to just, maybe center an affirmation, I'm the only thinker, I'm the only observer, I'm the only one, I am the only power in my reality, right? And then you can look at different things that are occurring in your 3D, and you can set like mini intentions, okay? Or you can set big intentions, it's really up to you, but you would set the intention saying, this is going to go better than I expect. And I like to leave it loose-ended, so you're not going to get a lot of fight from your ego. You just say, this is going better than I expect, whatever it is, okay? So if you have, let's say, a meeting at work and you're nervous about it, but you want to embody the state of creator, I intend that this meeting is going better than I expect. That's it. But don't set a specific parameter on it, because sometimes if you leave it open-ended, it's like it went better than you would expect. It can go super amazing, or it could just be like, whew, that's a relief that's over with. It doesn't matter, but I recommend with things like that to kind of set mini intentions throughout the day. I'm going to get a parking spot easily. There's not going to be a line at the store. This is going to go better than I expect, and just see how that goes, and then just flow with it. And you could take it up notches if you want, but that's what I recommend to start with. And then you'll see how you're creating your experience, because you're preemptively saying that everything is going to go better than you expect. Class is in session. That's so funny. Thank you. How to manifest being wealthy all the time, not ever worrying about money. I am the source of all my wealth. All of my funds are available to me now. Every dollar I circulate, or whatever it is in your country, pounds or euros or whatever, comes back to me multiplied. Start with that. Ooh, I love you too. Can you manifest an ego death towards SP? I mean, you're perceiving that they need an ego death, so I'd suggest just stop perceiving them that they need an ego death. Like, why? What story do you have about them that would even come up? You know what I mean? Because if you're perceiving that, like, you're not. Like, here's the thing for just anyone, the ego is not gonna die. Like, the ego is controllable, the ego is tameable, but the ego is not going to die, because it's part of the parameters of the 3D. If the ego is completely dead and defunct, you're not in a vessel. So you know what I'm saying? So really think about, a story that you have specifically about SP, but I mean, the ego is it's just going to be here. That's just what it is. But you learn to have the ego work for you instead of against you. That's the way I look at it. the books that I read to learn all this, I mean, I didn't learn all this just by books. I've learned it through experience. I've learned it through talking to different individuals about this. I've learned this through observation of others. I learned a lot of this through my favorite topping on pizza, with which is mushrooms. You know what I'm saying? And that you can't really teach through experience. You know what I mean? It's just kind of, you experience it and you just gain the knowledge from having that mental experience. Some books that I can recommend that I personally enjoyed and I find very beneficial, of course, there's always, you can start off with, you know, The Secret, okay, Rhonda Byrne, that's a very beginner guide. The Abraham Hicks collection, like the Vortex and those, I find those as well to be beginners, but they can be a little trippy because it kind of sounds like you have to be in a good mood all the time, but you don't. I recommend books by Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden. I recommend The Kybalion. This one is getting a little more old-timey occult, but it's kind of like, in my opinion, you have to read it several times and you gain new knowledge every time you read it. The book, The God Academy, I recommend that one. I recommend the book that I manifested somehow. It's called The White Book. It's by Ramtha. This one, again, it's channeled. It's more esoteric. It's not really science-based, but I recommend that one. I recommend anything by Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard is kind of like an intermediate level. He's like more advanced, in my opinion, you know, compared to The Secret, which I feel is kind of like a beginner if you're just getting your feet wet. I recommend Florence Scovel Shinn, Joseph Murphy. They're kind of like intermediate. If you really want science, read Joe Dispenza or Greg Braden. Greg Braden kind of, you know, he takes like ancient philosophies and practices and science, and like he's kind of like a conglomeration. But you know, for me, you know, I always recommend the Bible. But if you are reading the Bible as a manifestation handbook, it takes looking at it from literal to like figurative and metaphorical. So if you're willing to read the Bible as a metaphor and not as a religious text, there's a lot of good information in there. But the way that it's written is very, you know, it's like old-timey. And I recommend the King James Version because purportedly that's the most accurate. And they speak very archaically. I mean, anyone who watches my channel knows that I get off on the fucking Book of Corinthians. Like, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. Because, man, like, when they're saying, I'm gonna revisit this, because why the fuck not? When they say, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. If you look at that, and this is a breakdown, if anyone's curious about how to read the Bible as like a manifestation handbook and not like a literal whatever, or a religious whatever, okay? For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. You walk in a physical suit, but your war is not against the 3D. Your war is not to make anything happen in the 3D. You do it in your mind. We do not war after the 3D. We go in our mind, casting down imaginations and every high thing. Oh my God. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I can't. Okay, so if you want to read, I mean, the Bible to me, that's like, oh shit, that's like the OG, right? The Bible, it literally just means the book. And in my opinion, it's like the handbook. Like, you ever seen the movie Beetlejuice? The fucking, the movie, the original one from, I forget what year, sometime in the 80s. And it says the handbook for the recently deceased. In my opinion, the Bible is like the handbook for operating in the Matrix. Like, it's just, ooh, oh my goodness. Oh, whew. Anyway, so How do you stop listening to music? What? I didn't see who, maybe that question wasn't meant for me, but why would you want to stop listening to music? I'm listening to music right now. Shit is lit. Hell yeah. I have not read the Quran. I have not. So I don't know anything about that. I mean, I would have an interest in reading it, but I really have nothing to say because I haven't personally read it. You feel calmer when you hear me talk? Ah, thank you. Wow. Glad to offer some assistance with that. How do you manifest less strict parents? Stop viewing them as strict. And if it begins with just a thought, everything begins with just a thought, you would say, you know, my parents are so easygoing. They let me do whatever the fuck I want, whenever the fuck I want. Just start with that. And if it's a specific, you know, mom or dad, whoever, right? If one is more strict than the other, you say, oh yeah, you know, mom is always telling dad, like, you know, to be more easygoing with me. You could do it like that too. But you don't want to continually view them as being strict. You're stunned from my incredibly comprehensive advice to maintaining the state. Aw, you're welcome. I mean, you're not really, the thing is when you're just chilling and you're just kind of like everything is and everything is amazing right now, that's all you need to do is be in the state. You know, you don't need to constantly be affirming or visualizing or scripting because it's kind of like those techniques work, okay? But they work when you're trying to dismantle an old belief system and incorporate a new belief system into your psyche. And they're really, you know, for your ego, right? Because then let's say you get your ego on board. Oh yeah, you know, well, we're going to affirm for 20 minutes. Say, I mean, you can if it feels good to you, but if it starts feeling like a routine or a chore, then just chill out. Like, you know, at a certain point, you're like, listen, I've done enough, you know. And here's something else I want to touch on. Like sometimes when you've been affirming, you've been scripting, you've been visualizing, you've been in the wish fulfilled, and you're like, I don't even feel like doing anything more, whatever. Just let it go. The manifestation's not going anywhere because it already exists. That timeline is there, you know? If you haven't seen Movement Living in the End, would you recommend Manifesting in Steps? I mean, okay, if you're saying that there's been no movement, that is a story that you're telling. So stop telling the story that there's no movement. Start saying there's always movement, whether I see it with my two physical eyes or not. Oh, here we go, the puzzle piece. That means I've been talking for a fucking hour. Oh, shit. All right. Wow, that fucking flew by. You see, that's why time is trippy, because it feels like I was talking for like 15 fucking minutes. You see what I'm saying? Like when you're not paying attention, when you're not paying attention to time, it just flows by. So if you're saying that you're not seeing movement in the 3D, stop saying you're not seeing movement. Say there's always movement happening, whether I see it with my physical eyes or not. And you're also, you know, if you're more comfortable, if it resonates more with you to manifest in steps, then yes, you can definitely do that. It just depends where you're at. Everyone is different. So if you're, you know, more comfortable and you're like, okay, yeah, this resonates with me more, maybe I'm gonna do it in steps, and then you can do that. But you know, living in the end is always ideal. It's just, you know, sometimes that's not everyone's piece of cake, you know what I mean? Time to do your TikTok live chores. I have chores. Blue nails, hell yeah. They're like a turquoise. It's like one of my favorite colors, FYI. I'm curious, who has TikTok live chores? I'm so curious. Oh, the puzzle piece. I was like, wait, what? I'm like, what is going on here? Yeah, that's like a live duty, I guess, when you're I know that it always pops up when I've been talking for an hour, and that's the only thing I know. And then because I have nails and I'm on the screen, like I have to like maneuver it, like, but whatever. Ooh, yeah, turquoise, teal, Tiffany blue. Yeah, blue is like my favorite. I mean, my all-time OG is black, of course, but I mean, if I have to say color, you know, I like blue. Just passing by. Thank you for your amazing content. Aw, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. Biggest tip for resistance. Well, what is the resistance? You want to isolate where the resistance is coming from. Is it that you're just looking at time? Is it that you don't believe it's possible? Is it that you believe that it needs to happen in a certain amount of time? You need to isolate that first. How to get rid of all debt? What debt? What debt? I mean, there's your answer. What debt? I don't have debt. I mean, shit. Ain't nobody have debt unless they claim it. You see what I'm saying? And here's something it's a great question because it can be, utilized for so many different areas. If there is something going on that you do not want, whether it's something to do with your health, whether your physical vessel, whether someone you're dealing with, whether your job, whether your finances, anything, you don't want that. Don't claim it as yours. The fuck? I never claim anything as mine if I don't want that shit. Okay? I really fucking don't. Like, who is that? This could be a motherfucker from like years ago. Who is that? Who? I beg your pardon? I don't know anyone by that name. Who? Because the fuck? You see what I'm saying? Because in every moment, you're brand new. So you have no past. You have no debt. Like, you have nothing other than now. So if you're claiming debt or anything else that you don't like from the now moment, you're bringing it now. No, you don't have nothing that you don't want. Don't claim anything as yours. When you claim something, this is my opinion, you're claiming it as yours. You're taking ownership. You're taking possession of it. So do not claim ownership over anything that you don't want. I don't know where that came from. That ain't mine. That ain't mine. I don't know what the fuck. I never knew such a person. I never worked there. Nope. What are you talking about? You must be confused. Are you okay? Full on gaslight the shit out of yourself. And you're not technically gaslighting yourself if you say that something never existed, because technically it didn't exist, but from the ego's perspective, it kind of looks like you're gaslighting and saying that never happened. But you might have a memory of that happened, but the more that you fucking do that never happened. Everyone who would have been involved in that situation is going to forget about it too, because you are the one that is claiming something from your consciousness now. And if it's affiliated with anyone else, they're still going to remember that. But if you say that never happened, you're dismantling it from your psyche. It's not there. Maybe the timeline, to an extent, yes, all timelines will always exist, but it's lying in suspended animation and it can be dormant. And the more you leave something dormant away from your psyche by not claiming ownership over it, by paying no mind to it, it's just gone. Like, where is it? I don't know. I don't even remember. The motherfucker, former version of you who accrued any type of situation that you don't want to be dealing with now, that person doesn't exist anymore. So why are you going to acknowledge it? I'm a brand new motherfucker now. That's why I say I'm always a virgin, because I don't have a past. I'm a virgin right now. You know what I'm saying? What? Like, who? I don't know what you're talking about. You see what I'm saying? Ain't nothing happened before this moment. So you're all virgins in the chat. I bless you. The Church of the Born Again Virgin. Hell yeah. Everything that happened from the past that you do not want, that you do not like, that you do not enjoy, that shit's gone. We ain't recycling shit. That shit in the garbage. You don't have a past. No, you don't. Reputation? I don't have a reputation. I'm right here, right now. The fuck? What's going on right now? I'm sipping. I got some water right here. Woo. Zero bodies. Yeah, body count. What's that? I don't even know what that is. Oh my God. So, what's your opinion on affirming it's going to happen versus it's already done? I mean, this is really for preference, okay? I mean, of course, I'm going to say it's better to say that it's already happened. Like you would want to maybe frame it even in a past tense. But if your ego is going to try to fight you on that, you can say it's all unfolding perfectly. So it's not implying that the thing hasn't happened. It's saying that it's happening now. It's unfolding perfectly now. You'd want to keep it in real time or past tense as much as possible. Or you could say, it's already happened, or it's happening now, but it really just depends on your ego. You know what I mean? Yes, exactly. I mean, I see what, oh, thank you. With that comment, limiting beliefs don't exist. That is true too, to an extent, because you can only say that you have a limiting belief and then you're going to go by what that limiting belief is. So that's why when I say, do you have a belief system about this? Only take note of something if it's a recurring pattern, because then yes, you might have an operating system, an app in there that's kind of running in the background, but technically from this brand new moment, you really can just say, I have no more limiting beliefs. I'm free of every belief that I don't want. Everything is brand new. You can. Some individuals, that's not necessarily going to work for them. So you can address limiting beliefs if you have noticed a pattern. If it's just one thing, what do you believe about that thing? Okay, but you can say you have no limiting beliefs, but everyone's journey is different. So if that's what's working for you, then by all means continue to go for that. If the resistance is about time and you don't believe it can happen, what to do? Persisting feels like force. If persisting feels like force, then just say it's already done. Nothing else for me to do. Especially if you're focused on timing or the how. If that desire comes to your mind, there's nothing else I can do. I've already done it. It's done. Nothing. Like I would even suggest, kind of just, throwing in the towel with even thinking about it. If you feel like persisting in something is a chore, or you're not happy with doing that, then say, I've already done everything I can. It's done. It's out of my control. It's done. That's it. Like sometimes surrendering is a really good method when you, especially if you're just like, I don't see how, like, and you're not going to see from your 2-dimensional eyes, 3-dimensional eyes that are looking at things in 2D, you're not going to see that, how it's going to happen. You're just like, I've done everything I could here. I don't know. It's kind of like, higher self take the wheel. You know what I mean? What would be better, manifesting a successful business or just the money? Well, if you want to be a business owner and that's something you enjoy, then, the business. But if you just want money and you don't care how it comes, then go for the money. If you want both, then you just say that your business is successful and you have all the money that you could ever want or need, and you don't even have to think about it. How to get out of a spiral. If you are in a spiral, you want to be aware that it's just thoughts, it's just feelings, okay? That is not who you are. Who you are is the awareness that is observing the thoughts and the feelings. So first, depersonalize anything that your mind or your emotions are trying to tell you. You're going to center yourself. You're going to take deep breaths. So you do your nervous system regulation, whatever works for you to calm your body down, because, that's different for everyone. Everyone calms their body down differently. You're going to deep breathe, like really deep breaths. That's what I find universally works for everyone, because everyone is always fucking breathing. You say, I am not these thoughts. I am not these emotions. I'm going to let them pass through. I am grounded. I'm calm. I am safe. That's it. And breathe through it. That's the best thing for you to do. You're not even going to focus on what it is you're manifesting. You're going to get yourself back to a place of peace first, because remember, everything comes from you. So if you are unstable because you're listening to thoughts and you're listening to emotions, you're just creating more instability. So you have to come first. Ooh, I'm always live at the perfect time. Fuck yeah. Well, thank you for being here. How to manifest a healthy new job and a faithful man. Well, what kind of job do you want? If it's something specific, then get as specific as you can and start, saying, I'm so happy and grateful that I am working here. And a faithful man, this is, do you believe that men are cheaters? Do you believe that just men you're interested in cheaters? Do you like, if there's a belief system that men are cheaters, then you're going to start saying only faithful, loyal, monogamous men who want commitment right away approach me. That's it. The Perrier, yeah. I love sparkling water. I love it. Like, it adds like it's like a party in my mouth. You know what I'm saying? Woo. Yeah, I mean, like, you have to look at, like, okay, I think it's very valid that you can say that you have no limiting beliefs, but a lot of times why individuals come on the manifestation journey is because they're manifesting something and it hasn't happened immediately, but they're failing to realize that there was a limiting belief in the background that is directly contradicting it. So I'm not going to shit on saying, you can just say you have no limiting beliefs. Yes, that can work. And it can work in an instant because everything is instant. But if that's something that, hasn't worked for you, then if it is a pattern that you have recognized that things always at your job go like this, things always, with your friends go like this, or things always with relationships go like that, the pattern is coming from you. And then, yes, I recommend, looking at what that belief system is and then affirming the opposite of it. Manifesting someone out of your life peacefully, who even is that? I don't know who that is. Man, they just disappeared. Wow. I don't know how they disappeared, but I don't know what happened to them. But it was perfect. It was perfect, They're much happier being wherever the fuck they're at. I don't know where they're at, but they're much happier there. Do I do stats? I've been doing stats before I even knew that was a thing. I always, I'm super visual, so I mean, I'm probably doing stats right now, because I'm always imagining things. So yes, I do stats just for fun, really. It doesn't feel like a chore. It's actually like my entertainment before I go to sleep. But yes, I do that. But I can visualize naturally, so if someone is not a visualizer and they still want to go enter the theta state, with a positive, mindset, then you can just affirm. How often am I live? Oh, I don't even have an answer for that because time doesn't exist, and I don't really do schedules. I just kind of go on when I feel like it. Like, there have been times that I've been on every other day, and then there's sometimes that it'll be like a month. So I don't know. I really wish I had a more solid answer, but I don't like me. I really practice the law to such an extent that I'm not even on time now to give you a 3D time. It's just I feel like going on, so I go on. That's how I roll. Do I still get triggered? I always seem so zen and present and non-reactive. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Do I get triggered? If I feel a trigger, trying to arise, I do what I would tell anyone else to do, is to breathe. Okay. What's going on here? Oh, okay. So I will breathe, and I'm like, no, I'm not perceiving it that way that the trigger tried to present itself. I'm going to perceive it another way. And I will do that in the moment. And I will be mindful in the moment to not let the trigger allow me to spiral. And I will stop and I will pause and I will say, no, this is not what we're doing. And I don't care what is going on. Nothing to me is more important than how I'm conducting myself. So if I feel a trigger start to arise and I'm going to breathe, I'm be like, no, that's not what it is. It could be, because every possibility exists, but this is not what it is, and I will give it the most positive meaning that I can. That's what I do. So what is my concept of time? Do I believe in delays? No, because everything happens at the perfect time. And yes, there is a 3D, of course, construct of having a time delay, but in manifestation, that's really not a thing, because the thing already exists, that timeline already exists. So the only delay could be one that you're setting upon yourself. Now, this is also, what I spoke on in my one of my recent YouTube videos. I was saying, if you're complaining about time, your higher self does not give a shit, because your higher self is not aware of time. So if I don't know, the only way that I can liken it is if you're playing chess and you're kind of like you're seeing the chessboard, okay? So your higher self is like looking at the 3D, because it can see everything that's going on in the 3D, even things that you're not aware of, even conversations that you are not aware of, okay? And it's seeing all of that, whereas you're not seeing that like you can be tapped in at certain points, but your awareness, the way that your higher self or God consciousness, whatever you want to call it, is seeing that. And it's like, oh, okay, but it's not aware of time. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna move this piece now because I'm seeing everything that's going on, but I'm gonna move it. But it's sort of like there can be a delay, because your higher self is like, okay, yeah, this is how it's going to go in the 3D, the easiest way. But it's not looking at time. It's just looking at the easiest path for it to get to you, but it's not aware of time. So if you want to think of it in like a metaphorical sense, you're playing chess, you're like, but if I move here, this might happen or that might happen. Your higher self is seeing every fucking timeline. I mean, think about it, okay? So it's like, yes, this already exists. There's also a third dimensional aspect of myself. This is going to be the easiest way. So ooh, now I'll move. But from your 3D, you're like, what the fuck? Nothing's happening. But your higher self is looking at everything. And it's like, okay, you know what? The timeline exists. This is, there's, I don't want to say logical, because that's not the word, but it's like, I'm describing it like I'm lowballing it, okay? I'm lowballing it so hard, because you can't describe how manifestation works from a limited conversation. You cannot, but that's the best way I can describe it. So there's no delay. It's just like, okay, here are all these timelines. This is what this person is wanting, but like, now there's a conversation happening here, but the conversation is going to happen here. So I'm going to send this message at this point to this person, then that person is going to click something in their mind to contact you. Like, do you see what I'm saying? There's so many variables, because you cannot, and I cannot, from a third dimension. I mean, if you're in a altered frame of mind, yes, you can perceive a lot of it, and this is just, I'm grasping at what I've seen in altered frames of mind, but everything exists all at once. But because time doesn't exist, it's like the opportune moment. And this is, Chronos time and Kairos time, what I talked about in my other TikTok live stream, okay? It's like the time doesn't exist, but there's still an awareness that's placed. What is the easiest path? It's not looking at time, okay? So if you think about it from another area, okay? If you have a road that's going straight and it's smooth and there's no stops, you just go, you're right there, okay? Compared to there's another road, which it might get you there a little quicker, but it's not going to be as easy. You got to go up mountains. You got to go through fog and rain and sleet, whatever the fuck, okay? Like, do you see what I'm saying? So all that is wants easy, because it's done now. So the easiest way without a lot of hassle for you might appear like it's taking more time, but it's just the easiest way. So you have to think, do you want the thing to arrive to you in a way where it's like perfect and amazing, or do you want to have to like go through a bunch of bullshit to get there? And that's what this is, in my opinion. Motherfuckers talk about, oh, shit is gonna fall apart before it falls together, or you to have the purge. because you're so concentrated on trying to make shit happen that it's like you're like boom boom, I'm moving shit, and you're the one that's creating the bumpy road. But your higher self, because remember, you cannot not get to your destination, right? But your ego, because it's trying to figure out, it's maneuvering from the 3D perspective, so you're going to fucking, there's tornadoes in the valley and shit, I don't fucking know, okay? Hurricanes coming through, now you still driving through a fucking hurricane when you could have just went the clear path. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's why, in my opinion, the purges happen, because your ego is trying to force shit. When if you had just been like, all right, maybe it won't happen today, I don't care. When you stop focusing on time, that is the perfect time for it to arrive. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's just my 2 cents on that. So, I mean, from a 3D perspective, yes, it can look like there are delays, but nothing is delayed because the thing has already happened. It's just about when is the opportune moment? What is the easiest path? It's easy. It's supposed to be easy. And when you're trying to force shit to happen, it feels difficult. Oh, thank you, girl. Got my blue nails. Yes. How have you been? Good to see you in the chat. How do you stop checking the 3D? You have to say everything is unfolding perfectly for me. And if you have to force yourself to say, this means that this shit is already here, then that's what you do. You just keep saying, this means I have what I want. That means I have what I want. Everything means you have what you want. And it's like a game that you have with yourself. But I will tell you this, when you have fully embodied the state of the wish fulfilled, you're not even going to be looking at time, because you're such in that trusting place. You're like, whatever 5D chess is happening behind the scenes is perfect, because I already know that this is what it is. So, all right, this is, I'm going to just maneuver through the 3D and shit'll just arrive at the perfect time. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, you always got to enjoy the ride. The ride is fucking amazing. Happen, don't happen, happen when you want to happen. Yeah, I mean, the thing has already happened, right? But if you're aware of time and you're aware of it, then your ego is the thing that's creating those delays, if you want to call them. You know what I mean? Subconscious blockages. I mean, that's really going towards your belief system. So if you have a pattern of something, then you would want to look into that. What is the main issue of the pattern? Like, what is this pattern saying about me? But I wouldn't necessarily go into it, say that I have a block to the manifestation, because you might not. But just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean that there's a block. It just means it hasn't happened. Maybe because you're aware that it hasn't happened, but it's not necessarily a block. It's still a story you're telling. So it can be, really trippy, like the way that these things occur, and it can be trippy the way that your mind behaves. You think I'm the best coach after Abdullah? I don't know if he was a coach. I mean, the only thing I've really heard about him is that he trained Neville and Joseph Murphy. I mean, I would love to know more about him, because, I mean, he seemed like, he was like up on how this shit works. But, I mean, I'm not like a historian, so I don't know if I want to even go through like researching more about him. I mean, I wish there was more about him though, because he seems like the OG even before Neville, Oh my God. Thank you. Yeah, I get straight to the point, because I can't have someone sitting there and telling me their whole life story and then get into the meat and bones of what they're talking about like 20 minutes later. I can't. Like, I'm like, no, let's just get to it. I like shit fast. Let's go. Ooh, you love the vibe here? Is there a community you can join? I mean, I don't I don't really have a community. I mean, I have a members section on my YouTube, but as far as like a Telegram or a Discord, I don't know. I mean, if you guys are interested in that, let me know. But I personally don't have one at this moment in time. Oh, I saw someone mention the Ho'oponopono. I can never even pronounce that. I've heard that one was really good too. I mean, but you know, all of these things, they're really just your perception of them. So if you perceive something is going to work or something is going to be magical, then it is. And it's the same thing with like, you know, tarot readings or astrology or this planet is aligned. If you believe that that's going to affect you, then it is. If you don't believe it, then it isn't. So everything is still, you know, based on your perception of it. Oh, you're interested in a Discord. Okay, thank you. I had to figure that out. Like, I'm not super tech savvy. I know I have a Telegram, but I don't really go on there. But I don't know, is there a difference between Telegram and Discord? Because I don't fucking know. To notify you when you're going live. I don't know. I mean, doesn't TikTok do that? I mean, I don't know. The thing is with me, like I told you, like I'm really like, I don't just talk about this. I really embody it. So I don't really plan when I'm going live. I just kind of, I'm like, okay, yeah, I feel like it. Let me just go with it. It's like an inspired action, if you will. But maybe I could do like a video before I go live and just put like, you know, live now or something in it, you know what I mean? And then say whatever time, I mean, well, time does exist. We're all in different time zones, aren't we? So, woohoo. Oh, TikTok doesn't notify you when I go live? Shady. I don't know. I thought they did. Because whenever I sign on here, it says notifying viewers that you're live. So I don't know. I mean, that's something I'm not necessarily in control of, but we can intend right now that TikTok always notifies everyone when I go live. But it's good because you arrive at the perfect time, right? You always just somehow find me on live. So you see it works out anyway. Manifestation. Ooh, it notified you guys. Okay, good. I am happy that it's at least notifying some individuals. How to embody your state of being. So who do you desire to be? Is this like in every area of your life, or is it just in a specific app? Because you are a different version of you, you know, in different apps of your life. I mean, you're not the same individual in your money app as you are with your family, as you are with your relationship. You know what I mean? You're always different. So get clear about who the ideal version of you is in each one of those apps, and then embody that state by just kind of, you know, evaluating who you are in every moment. Would the ideal version of me react to this, or would they do this? That's really like the best thing I can tell you about that. Oh, thank you for the rose. Yes, exactly. It is like playing a character. Like someone in one of my lives said, you know, what do you think of method acting in terms of manifestation? And that's really what you're doing. Like you're becoming that person in every moment. And that's how you shift your identity, because an identity of you might react in a certain way, whereas another identity of you might react in a different way. And the more you respond to the 3D from the ideal version of you, the more you step forward into that timeline of your ideal. Is it better to be super specific and detailed about your manifestation? I mean, it depends. If there's something very specific that you want, like a person, or you want a very specific position at a job, or you want a very specific house, then yes, be specific. But if you just want, you know, even if you want more money, I recommend a specific amount that you're comfortable with, just saying that you have that in your bank balance now and going with that. But if it's just kind of like you want your general life to improve, like you just want to, you want to be in a better situation, then you don't need to get specific. So, I mean, the answer is like, if there is something definite that you want, yes, be specific. But if you just want improvement, then just say this area of my life is constantly improving to my benefit. So act and remain in the new state. I mean, you don't like, listen, always is, again, that's bringing time into the equation, but you would want to make a mental note to embody the state as much as you can until it feels natural to you. And then you're not even going to have to remember anymore. It's just who you are. Like I can look back at some past experiences of mine and I'm like, who the fuck even was that? And I'm sure a lot of you can too, where you're just like, I would never do that now, because you're a different version. So you step into the different version constantly, and it might feel like a reminder until that just is who you are. And then the former version of you is just, where did that go? It's somewhere in suspended animation. You know what I mean? Oh, my videos on YouTube are helping you. You listen to them over and over. Thank you. I appreciate that. Glad to know that they're helping you out. How to know if the SP, your physical mind, wants is the same that your higher mind has for you. There's no, you are your higher mind. So you wording it like that, thank you for the rose. You wording it like that is still under the illusion of separation. So if you want something, that thing is meant for you. So ask yourself, why do you have questions if the SP is meant for you? That means that you are in doubt of this specific person. It doesn't mean your higher self is doing anything. That's the same thing with divine timing. It's like nothing is holding anything away from you. But it's like, okay, the thing is already done. At the opportune moment, it will arrive. The person is already conformed, but you're not seeing that. So it's about how you are perceiving this individual, you know? Oh my God, you love going to my videos and learning about the manifesting arts. I mean, manifesting isn't really an art. Like it's kind of like, it's just always happening. It's very natural, but we've been programmed to believe that it's sort of like a mystical thing when it isn't. It's just, this is how shit works. This is what's happening. You know what I mean? Oh, Anna. What is up, holla? Yeah, you can't mess things up, because then that's still your perception of you saying you messed it up, and it's not messed up because the timeline is already done. So you can't, it's like the thing has already been built, it's already fully assembled. You saying you messed it up, it's like now you're taking a hammer and you're trying to like beat the thing to like smithereens, and you can't do that because it's already done. It's assembled ethereally. Now you can, from your perception, delay the meeting point between you and this thing, but you can't mess it up. How do you know if it's been too long and it's time for you to let go? That's your perception. Nothing is too long, and time is whatever you make of it. So if you have shifted your awareness to, you don't want that thing anymore in this moment of time, then that's what it is. But if you're like, okay, well, maybe it's not meant for me, or it's time to let go because it isn't happening, that's you know, you're not trusting in yourself that it's already done. So there was something in there that you still didn't trust that the thing was done, or you didn't think you could have it. So it's always up to you. There's never anything other than you that's dictating any rules. So if you like, okay, if someone is manifesting something, then they're doing it, and then they're like, you know what, I don't even want this anymore, I just want something else, and they go for something else. That's them shifting, like, I don't want this anymore. And a lot of times that thing arrives when you say that. Not because it's like, oh, well, it's coming now that I don't want it. No, because you had resistance to the thing that was keeping it away from you. So you saying you don't want it anymore, you took away all the resistance as well to that thing. And then now that thing is there because that thing was always there. So you get to decide, you know. Whee. You keep manifesting your type of woman, but then she'll friend zone you. So that's a story that you have. So start saying that the women that you desire always desire you way more than you desire them. And whatever you want from them, you're going to imply that. You want a relationship, you know, then you say, every woman that I want just wants to be with me. I can't get her off my shit. That's it. But take away the story of the friend zone, because that's a pattern that you are saying is happening. Goon fuel? I don't even know what's going on in the chat. Okay, we're talking about goon fuel. That sounds actually very interesting, but I don't know what that is. I like legit. I don't know what that is. I don't want to know. I do. That's why I asked. Goon fuel? Like, I'm thinking, listen, I mean, there's a whole bunch of possibilities what that could be, but do you think movement exists? Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. So there's always movement because everything is a wave. And what are waves doing? They're waves, they're constantly moving. It's just that if you're perceiving something is not moving, then you are emitting waves of non-movement. So you're going to get more movement of non-movement, which is like insane, you know? Hey, Michelle, what is up, girl? Thank you for joining. Can I explain the dimensions? So in my opinion, and I am by no means the absolute gospel of this, but in my opinion, the way that it resonates with me is that, you know, 3D, obviously that's physical. Okay, everything you could touch, taste, you know, whatever, all your 3D senses. And then you have the fourth dimension, which in my opinion, that's where time is. That's where your thoughts are. That's where your emotions are, because they're intangible, right? You can't touch time. You can't touch your thoughts. You can't touch your feelings, okay? They're there. You have an awareness, but they're intangible. Then 5D and up is all that is. It's beyond thought. It's beyond emotions. It's beyond time. It's just everything. It's beyond judgment. And your higher self is obviously, you know, from the fifth dimension, and it can see into all aspects of time, whereas you're from your 3D perception, you know, you're looking at time from the 3D vantage point, but you can't look up. So when you're looking at something from the ego, all you're seeing is the ego, right? But your higher self can look down and see into all of the other dimensions. Whereas like from the third dimension, you're only seeing from the 3D, right? From a fourth dimension, you're only seeing from the fourth dimension. But the higher self, the fourth dimension can see down into the 3D. Okay, the fifth dimension can see down into the 4D, down to the 3D, but you're not looking up from that awareness. And something, whatchamacallit, oh my God, there's this, I'm sure some of you have seen it. It's this, it's on YouTube. It's for free. It's called What the Bleep Do We Know? And this is where I think Joe Dispenza got his start with all of this. And it's like a movie. And towards the end of the movie, if you only want to watch the last few minutes of it, because it's kind of like, it's a lot, like it can be like, oh, okay, whatever. It's really good if you want to watch the whole thing. But towards the end of it, like the last 15 minutes, they have like this little animation where it's like they're showing someone who's in like a two-dimensional world, and someone who's 3D, they can see into the two-dimensional world, but they're showing it from the two-dimensional creature's perception. They're only seeing what's around them. And so when the 3D creature is reaching into that 2D world, it looks like magic. Like, how did that happen, right? And that's, in my opinion, how dimensions are. So that's why things can mysteriously appear out of nowhere, because in 3D you're like, wait, what? I was just looking for that. Now it's here. Like, huh? Like, it's weird, right? Because you cannot interpret from your 3D senses how something gets placed in your 3D reality, because it's coming from a higher dimension, which you are not in full comprehension of when you're looking at things from a 3D perspective. Is there a preview or some sort of recording of this live? Yeah, this is going to be going on YouTube. I'm inspiring so many people today. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, I've had things come out of thin air. Me too. And that shit is more normal than you would think. Like, things are supposed to happen that way. That's why, like, where I'm at now, I'm like, things are just, yeah, how to get there, I don't know, it just appeared. Like, what? Like, and I'm in total unison with that thought process, rather than, you know, okay, well, this has to happen and that has to happen. I'm like, no, because there are things that you're not going to understand fully about manifestation. That's why it looks like magic. That's why it can look like woo-woo or whatever the fuck they want to call it. You know what I mean? What do you personally believe brings manifestation to 3D the fastest is alignment. Alignment, knowing that it's done. That's the fastest. You're just, yeah, it's done. Who cares? Moving on. I'm going to go live my life. That is the fastest thing. And this is not something that you can necessarily force, because you can pretend that you don't care that the thing isn't there in 3D, but you're like, oh, but where is it? Oh, I don't care, but where is it? Yeah, Oh, yeah, SP is in love with it. Oh, but I'm looking at my phone. Where are they? You see what I'm saying? Oh, but the money's in my bank balance. Oh, but let me check. No. True alignment brings things the fastest when you do not give a fuck what's going on in the 3D. You're like, it's done. I've nothing else for me to do. It's done. That's alignment. And alignment, not to be confused with, you know, you're affirming, you're visualizing, you're scripting. You know, you're doing that ideally to change a belief system if a belief system is in contradiction to the thing that you're manifesting, but you're not doing anything to make the manifestation happen. That's why you can just say, this thing is done. I already know it's done. Go live your life uncaring about whether it's physically there or not, because you know it's done. Just like a lot of times, I'm sure, you know, you've had the experience where you just knew something was going to happen and it happened. You weren't, oh, where is it? I know it's going to happen. It's here. Is it here? Like, you're just like, I know this is what's going to happen. And then it happened. So that is what alignment is. You're just like, yeah, it's done. Who cares? Moving on. That's in my definition anyway. That's what brings things the fastest, because you have no resistance to it. You're not looking, where is it? You're not wondering how it's going to get there. What do I think of the saying? If it feels good, it's meant for you. If it feels bad, it isn't. Only you can say something is meant for you. So you can say something that feels bad is meant for you and you're going to be correct. You can say something that feels good is meant for you and it's going to be correct. So it's you know, that's your perception. Now, the thing that maybe what I think you're talking about is when a negative emotion comes up, what people say that's not true, it's coming from your ego. That is telling you not to go there. So if you want to say it's meant for you or not, you know, that it really depends on, you know, whatever type of language you want to use with that. But if something feels like shit, it's coming from a place of fear, coming from the place of ego, coming from a lack and separation. So that's something where your emotions would matter, not in the sense of you have to feel good and be in a high vibe all the time to manifest. It's like, no, this feels tense, this feels constricted, I don't like this, it feels like anxiety. Then do not proceed with those thoughts. That's what that means. Like, you touch a hot stove, oh shit, no, it's telling you don't go there. because it's kind of like your emotions, in my opinion, are like a warning system. It doesn't have anything to do if it's meant for you or not, because you can say that negative things that make you feel like shit are meant for you and you'd be correct. So if it feels like shit, you must quit. Let that motherfucker go. Say, oh, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm gonna stay away. That, for me, because remember, your thoughts and your emotions are not real. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. They're just there. But in my opinion, emotions are there as like an internal system, like a hot stove, and you touch it. Oh shit. Yeah. Warning. Do you want to go there? No. Whether it feels delulu as fuck, it doesn't matter. If you start thinking, okay, yeah, I'm going to think this way and I'm going to look over here. And pretty soon you're going to get used to that. And then those negative emotions, even if they come up, you're going to be like, oh yeah, that's some sort of ego bullshit going on. I'm not paying attention to that. Okay. Whereas intuition, your higher self, in my opinion, no matter what it's telling you, is not ever going to feel like anything. It's just going to be neutral. That's why I always, in my content, true neutrality is the ultimate, because even if something feels like elation, ecstasy, excitement, that shit is not, it's not, I don't want to say it's not natural, but neutral, calm, being at peace, that is the God state, because there's no heightened anything. Because of everything, all there is, you can't be really excited and you can't be really sad. You're just at peace. It's neutral, right? There's no bad, there's no good, because there's no judgment. It's just everything all at once. So, and this is a perfect example, right? Because motherfuckers like, oh, stay away from negative emotions. But even positive emotions, yes, like, okay, like you're feeling good, you're feeling excited, but even that is not who you are. Because think about it, okay? You're manifesting an SP. You get all excited. They call you. Oh my God, I can't believe they call me. Like, that's not being in the natural state of being in a relationship. Because if you're in a relationship and it feels calm, and it feels neutral, feels at peace, because it's natural for you to be in a relationship with that person, you have to be, oh my God, I can't believe they called me, all excited. That means that you haven't fully embodied that state either. So I would be very, very mindful of emotions. Okay, if it feels bad, no, you don't want to go there. If you're getting really excited, yeah, that's a step up. It can help bring you to neutral, especially, here's the thing, okay? So now I just got a fucking image in my mind, okay? So here's like my mind, okay? So here's like emotions, right? Emotions do not manifest, but they can be helpful in helping you get to that neutral God state, which in my opinion is more important than feeling even super excited. Because even being super excited, think about, you have an orgasm, you feel really good, but then you come down from that, right? That's not your natural state, okay? Your natural state is really, it's just going to feel natural to you. So if you're always in a good mood, right? You're always excited. That's going to be natural, and you're not going to feel excited. Does that make sense? Just like if you're always in a bad mood, that's going to feel natural to you. So you're like, do you see what I'm saying? So it's very different, but here's true neutral, right? So if you're somewhat like me, I'm kind of always in a weird neutral or excited state, but that's just my baseline. So for me to get even more excited, it's like everyone's noticing that, because I'm like jumping off the walls. I'm like, oh my God, but that shit don't last. But it's just jumping off the walls. I'm like, oh my God, but that shit don't last. But it's just where I'm at generally is like neutral to like excited, curious. I don't know what you want to call it, okay? But to me, that's natural, okay? So that is, to someone else, I might look excited, but for me, that's natural. You see what I'm saying? But that's just where I'm at, because that's where my state is. So someone can be in a pissy mood all the time, right? You ever meet a motherfucker and they're like fucking Scrooge, you're always fucking grumpy, and like the fuck crawled up this motherfucker's ass, right? But that's natural to them, so they don't even notice that they're fucking grumpy, because that's their baseline. It's not neutral, because they might be feeling a certain way, like negative, but to them that's natural, so they're not going to see it. So for someone to be at true neutral, number one, true neutral in my opinion is you're just chill. No matter what's going on, you're like, okay, but because there's a baseline, right? You're just chill, right? But you're more inclined, okay, when a 3D circumstance arises, are you gonna immediately jump to, oh my God, like some negative shit happened, you're gonna be constricted? Is that where you're gonna jump to automatically when something comes up? Or you're gonna be like, oh wow, this is actually serving me too, and you're gonna get excited? You see what I'm saying? But the baseline is always peaceful, it's always neutral. So for me, I'm most likely going to be like, oh my God, excited, but I know that's not real. It's not real. It's just like I got some feedback from the 3D. I'm like, ooh, okay. Like, do you see what I'm saying? But that's where I'm at now. I'm naturally more inclined to something positive, but even that's not the natural state. The natural state is peace. So someone who is in a shitty mood a lot of the times, right? Like, for them to get to true neutral, motherfucker, if they're in a state where they're naturally feeling grumpy or constricted or whatever, okay, they are gonna want to reach for that excitement and that euphoria and that ecstasy, because it's gonna help to balance them to get to a neutral place. Does that make sense? But you don't ever want to be constantly overly excited, because that shit is fake too, in my opinion. But your emotions can tell you where you're at. So if you're more in a state where you're grumpy, I would suggest finding things that make you happy. Okay? If you're at a place where you're just kind of like baseline neutral, you don't really need to do anything. You're just kind of like, okay, you're chilling, okay? Oh, thank you for the heart. But your emotions are there as like a guide to bring you back to self of the true neutrality and peace. So you're in a relationship with SP, even, oh my God, they text me. You're not gonna, like, no, you're not gonna be in a constant state of jizzing your pants when your SP texts you when you're in that committed relationship. You're just not. Like, yes, you might, oh, they texting, oh, that's so cute, oh, they're thinking of me. But you're not going to be jumping up and down doing cartwheels. And that shows that you're not at true neutral, and you're not in the place of the wish fulfilled, because the wish fulfilled, it feels so natural to you that you're just like, okay, like, yeah, of course they're texting me. Do you see what I'm saying? So definitely, if you're in the place of where you're kind of feeling, normal, and normal is different to everyone, but you know what I mean? You're just kind of calm for you, and everyone's version of calm is different too. But if you're mostly in a place where you're like, okay, but then something happens in the 3D, right? SP, whatever the fuck, okay? I don't know. SP doesn't get back to you for an hour. Are you gonna immediately go to like, oh shit, constricted, bad emotions? Or are you gonna go like, oh, whatever, yeah, like they're still, that's fine. They'll get back to me and they get back to me. You see, that's more neutral. So wherever you are at, you want to aim for true neutrality, because even getting so excited, that's showing you that it's not natural to you, because true excitement like that is not natural. It just isn't. It isn't. It's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're manifesting $8 million, okay? Yeah, you might be excited when it first hits your bank account, like, oh shit, I can't believe I did it. But even at that point, if you had embraced the state where the $8 million is natural for you, you'd be like, yeah, all right, I have $8 million. Like, I'm not gonna say you're not gonna care where you don't appreciate it, but it's not gonna cause an elated emotion either. So when motherfuckers talk about, feeling is a secret, again, I'm gonna say it's not about your emotions, it's the feeling of naturalness. So if you're someone who's like kind of naturally happy, then that's your baseline, but it's still your neutral. But you're not gonna be like totally, oh my God, bouncing off the walls all the time, unless you want something. And if that's you, then let me know the shit that you want, because hello. But do you see what I'm saying? It's the naturalness of the sensation in your vessel. But if it feels like shit, no, stay away. If it feels good, keep going in that direction, but know that that's not natural either. Natural is neutral. That's why the words are fucking similar. Okay, true neutrality, natural for you. It's going to be a place of peace. It's going to be a place of calm, but your emotions can show you where you are at in relation to that thing. So if you are in a place where you've been feeling like shit and you keep finding things that excite you, that's going to help bring you to that place of naturalness. Even if someone who is in a place of naturalness, they're not going to necessarily need to do that. Do you see what I'm saying? So I hope that made sense. I mean, it made sense in my mind, but Yes, if you're a naturally happy person, that's your baseline, and there's nothing wrong with that. But even with someone who's naturally happy, I still there you might get an unexpected surprise in the 3D. You're like, "Oh my God," and you might be even more happy, but that's still not your baseline, right? You're just it's how you are. So only you can gauge where you're at. You know what I mean? Yeah, if you're a natural, chill, and neutral person, then there you go. That's natural for you. So it's kind of like you have to look at it as like it's when you're in a place of peace and calm, you might be more like leaning towards I'm happy, everything is going my way, and that's fine, okay? But it's still like when you get feedback in the 3D, oh my God, you're excited for a minute, but then, okay, yeah, cool. The millions of dollars hit your bank account. Okay, you got excited in the first like maybe few days. And then after that, it's just natural. It's not going to cause that heightened excitement anymore. And it's the same thing for like something happens in the 3D. Maybe you spiraled for a day, you felt like shit, but that's not natural either. It's a heightened emotion. So anything that is not you, and you know where you're at, I don't, I know where I'm at, but your natural state of being, that's how your manifestation should process in your vessel. It should process as how you would naturally be conducting your business in the 3D. Like just, okay, yeah, this is what it is. So I don't know how long I've been talking, but I ran out of water and I'm getting hungry. So thank you all for joining me on this wonderful excursion. This will go on YouTube, and you know, I think this is a longer one, so I don't know how long it's going to take to get up, but thank you everyone for the likes and the conversations and the shares and the gifts. I appreciate you all. This is your church. I love it. Thank you. And I will talk to all of you guys later. Bye. And I will talk to all of you guys later. Bye.